So a week ago, I made a video talking about whether I believe that the vegan diet was a healthy diet to follow. My conclusion was that for the general population, a vegan diet is actually a pretty good diet to follow, but for the more active, higher protein consuming population, the vegan diet was just not convenient in hitting your daily protein goal. With that said, what do I personally believe to be the optimal diet to follow with the given information that we have today? With that said, in this video, I'm going to be talking about what I believe to be the optimal diet for health, prevention of disease, longevity, and just living a full, active lifestyle. The main takeaway of this diet is the fact that balance is key. You want to be eating a diverse array of various whole foods. With that said, I'm going to jump right into this diet. Now I'm going to separate into two different populations, one for the general population as well as the active, higher protein consuming population. But first, I'm going to go over some diet staples. Now, this is pretty constant among both groups of people. Obviously, organic is going to be better, but buy what you can afford. So the first diet staple I'm going to go over is none other than vegetables. So vegetables are the best source of micronutrients and fiber that you can get in a diet because it is so nutrient dense while being very relatively low calorie. Now, in terms of the vegetables that you should be eating a diverse range of all kinds of vegetables of various different sizes. So that means your dark leafy greens such as spinach, your cruciferous veggies kind of like broccoli. You also want to be eating vegetables of different colors. So red bell peppers are excellent, red cabbage, carrots, basically anything that's a vegetable you should be eating. Now, in terms of how much vegetables you should be eating in a given day, I recommend 2 to 3 servings of veggies per day, assuming that you consume 3 meals per day. So with that said, get your veggies in and get that volume. The next diet staple that I want to cover is vegan sources of protein. This includes organic tofu, tempeh, quinoa, lentils. I'm more talking about the whole food, unprocessed vegan sources of protein. The reason I have this here is because, like I said in the other video, the average American is eating way too much animal meat, and this is a direct alternative to animal protein. Next, I'm gonna go over fruit. Yes, I believe fruit should be part of everyone's daily diet. Like vegetables, it is an excellent source of micronutrients and fiber, but unlike vegetables, it's a lot more tasty. Because of this, you can eat this as a dessert or sweeten it to your smoothie or whatnot. And if you want to be getting the largest bang for your buck, you want to be eating kiwis and blueberries in particular. These two fruits are basically the most nutrient dense fruits in this category, so I highly recommend that you consume blueberries and kiwi. In terms of how much you should be eating, I recommend for the general population you're consuming 2 to 3 servings per day, while for the active population you can be consuming anywhere from 3 to 8 servings per day, depending on your activity level for that day. Okay, we are absolutely running through this diet. So next thing I'm going to be talking about is complex carbohydrates as well as grains. In general, you want to be consuming whole grains or higher protein grains, as well as minimally processed foods. So for your whole grains, you have stuff like brown rice, quinoa, beans, oats. And for your unprocessed complex carbohydrates, you have my favorite, the sweet potato. And then to a somewhat lesser extent, high protein pasta as well as whole wheat pasta. And then at the bottom we have bread. I don't consume a lot of bread because, well, I'm Asian. Alright, next thing I want to talk about is animal protein. So you want to stick to leaner sources of animal protein. So that's stuff like chicken breast, shrimp, pork tenderloin. Of course, pasture raised and wild caught is a lot better, only if you can afford it. And in terms of amount, this is where the general population and the active population really differs. So for the general population, I truly believe that you can go entirely vegan if you'd like to. But of course, that's not a whole lot of fun, and for many people, that's simply not realistic. Because of this, I think it's actually more optimal to be some sources of animal protein, even if you don't have an active lifestyle. I recommend a max of 2 servings of meat per day, or 80% of your protein coming from animal source. And then for the active population, I recommend anywhere from 50 to 90% of your protein consumed coming from animal product. And again, this is highly dependent on the level of activity and how your own body reacts to your training regime. And the last thing that's constant for both groups is minimizing your consumption of fatty meat as well as processed meat. Next thing I want to quickly go over is probiotics. I do believe probiotics are a great thing to have in your diet. You can get this from yogurt, kefir, kombucha, or supplementation. And I recommend getting some source of probiotics in your diet around every other day. Next, we have supplementation. Now, for the general population, I recommend that you consume a multivitamin. And if you're eating out a lot or you eat a lot of fried foods, fish oil pills or omega-3s are also a very nice thing to add to your diet. For the active population, I'm going to stick with multivitamins as well as fish oil pills. But also a very commonly overlooked thing is joint supplementation. You want to be taking a high quality joint supplement if you're actively participating in exercise. And the last component of this diet, the icing on the cake, so to speak, sweeteners and desserts. So I'm going to be honest, if this is going to be an optimal diet, I would say minimize desserts if you can, and you can substitute this by eating fruit. But of course, we're not robots. Desserts are delicious and it's quite hard to just eliminate that from your diet. So I'd say that personally, if you want to eat desserts, you should make it yourself, just because you're going to be in control of the ingredients that you put into that dessert. So with that said, in terms of sweeteners, you want to be using natural sources such as 100% honey, 100% maple syrup, coconut sugar, or even fruit, as opposed to regular white table sugar. And then in terms of artificial sweeteners, I think they're okay in moderation, meaning like 3 times a week maximum, but you should be avoiding aspartame entirely. So I'm sorry, don't drink Diet Coke. And that is it. That is my optimal diet that I created. Now, I made this to have nothing to do with fitness or burning fat or gaining muscle. I was mainly addressing stuff like health, prevention of disease, longevity, etc. But I will say, if you are currently overweight and you follow this, mainly prioritizing the veggies, meaning hitting that daily goal of 2 to 3 servings per day, I guarantee that you will lose fat. This is because that high amount of vegetables that you're consuming adds up to a whole lot of volume, which then makes you more full, which means it's harder for you to overeat. So if you're currently following an American diet, eating a whole bunch of BS, start implementing some of the stuff I mentioned in this video, and I'm telling you right now, you are going to be super happy with the results that you see. Granted that you exercise as well though. So that is it. I hope you got something out of this video on what I believe to be the optimal diet. Please leave a like, because I dropped some absolute bombs in this video that I can easily charge money for. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, hit the bell for more videos like this every single week. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.